and gentlemen, the books is in. The books are in. Yep. They in. They're here.
Log in to KofiPaisaTV.com and get Spears of the Masi Volume 1 by Kofi Paisa Research Team, from Spears the Pen Volume 2 by Kofi Paisa Research Team, Spiritual Combat Volume 3 by Kofi Paisa Research Team, One Night Before Bed by Any Haret Shun Kalfani, Kalawa's Trip to the Motherland by Kofi Paisa, From Cocaine to Consciousness by Any Haret Shun Kalfani, As I Learned, We All Learn by Kofi Paisa. Also, if you want fresh merch, go to our online store, Family Connect Apparel, and get all the brands. Also, get our 54 deck of quiz and educational cards, available now on KofiPaisaTV.com.
ETM Hotel, Rennie Sean, welcome in peace. My name is Sean. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning into the Masa Warrior Clan. I am your host this evening. Please like, share, and subscribe to the Masa Warrior Clan YouTube channel. Again, get the people in the building, man. Get the people in the building. This is a topic that I just felt like I'm going to address one time, and after that, I'm not really going to address it any further. Peace, Stacy. Peace, Pure. Peace, Juju. Akoma, peace, Pure. Double Law, Nunu, what's good? What's going on with everybody? Hope everybody having a good evening. For those of you who just watched Dr. Ma'at's bill with the sister dealing with the Haitian assassination and revolution and so forth, she was bringing some information that's viable to our eyes, ears, hearts, and minds. So for those that may not be tuned in right now, that may catch the replay, please make sure that you tuned in to the latest Truth to Power Talk with Dr. Ma'at. But as of right now, man, I need y'all to like the show and share the show. This is going to get interesting. As you can see from the actual title, we are dealing with Hebrew Israelite misuse of the Itinerary of Benjamin of Tudela. This is a serious issue, a serious topic, because those brothers, and it hasn't been sisters, but those brothers have orchestrated a pathway into projecting their ignorance onto a people and not understanding what the heck the itinerary is stating. They're also using a secondary source written by a lady that is projecting an assumption onto a people and claiming that she is referring to Jews trading in West Africa. We're dealing with the Hebrew nonsense. Please like this show, Please share the show. Before we get started, is anyone in the chat? For people that still might be listening, I see the numbers dropped, but people that might be listening, how many people? Craig said, what the hell is vibration? Man, listen, bro. A lot of that stuff is Madame Blavatsky. And maybe in the next couple of days, in 48 hours, y'all will hear about that stuff. The vibration talk, the colors talk, and all of that. You're going to get some more information. So I don't know if anyone is still tuned in or not, but could you please like the show, share the show? And let's see if we can get the numbers up and go from there. Hold on real quick. Something happened I don't know nothing about. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know how many people still here. You know what I'm saying? I do see. Okay. Yeah, the comments is slowed down, so I didn't. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who's actually here, who's not here. So, all good. All right. So let me see what we got going on right here, man, and then we're going to get it going. Now, I'm trying not to jump into it too quick. And there's a reason why I'm not trying to jump into it too quick, because I feel like as soon as I get going, somebody's going to have a question. And I'm just trying to give people their opportunity to get their vibrations together to. Nah, I'm just playing. I'm trying to give people an opportunity to get themselves together to be able to go in. I'm not going to keep people on here very long or anything like that. And then it's going to go, boy, pure is crazy. Yeah, well, I'm reading some stuff and looking back at what was being said over there. Man, that was a pretty good dialogue. So we'll see what's going on with that. We'll see what's going on with that. All right, so here's what happened. I went over to a platform I've been on before. Peace, Alafiyani. I went over to a platform that I've never been to before. When I went to the platform, I realized under the influence of one of my research team brothers, right? So I go over there because he posted a link, and they talking about Benjamin of Tudela, and we had already had this dialogue on Garfield channel before. However, in the conversation, we had uncovered, once we got the source, we had uncovered some information that actually refuted the position that two Hebrews were actually taking. The position that the two Hebrews were taking were, both of them were under the impression that Benjamin of Tudela's itinerary mentions West Africa, or says Ghana in the itinerary. They used it as an opportunity to insinuate that Tudela was dealing with Jews who were trading with people in West Africa. All right. That was not the case. We specifically placed the people in Libya. So when we placed them in Libya, the people were stating that that's incorrect, that the itinerary doesn't say that. The itinerary is actually only referring to people dealing with people in West Africa due to trade. So what we're going to do today is we're actually going to look at a couple of pieces of evidence that we're going to take into an account, and then we're going to draw an honest conclusion based on a couple of pieces of evidence. We're going to use Benjamin of Tudela's itinerary, which would be the primary source. But before we do that, we need to know who Benjamin of Tudela is and his relevance to the Jewish perspective because he is a Jew. And his whole thing is to push an agenda, right? To push the agenda on people and then go from there. What up, Nzinga? So give me a second here. I'm trying to get the show shared. I know usually the number one troll is good at sharing it to her brothers and the Hebrew brothers and sisters all the time. But let's go ahead and see what we got going on here. And then we're gonna rock. So first, let's find out who this dude is. Let me go back. Full screen. Click. All right. So, all right, we got Tudela. Let me see if I can get some of the ads closed. Nope. All right, I can't get them. All right, so Benjamin of Tudela was born in the 12th century. He's a rabbi who was the first known European traveler to approach the frontiers of China, and whose account of his journey, Masaot, the Itinerary of Benjamin of Tudela in 1907, illuminates the situation of Jews in Europe and Asia in the 12th century. Motivated by commercial interests as well as a desire to learn the conditions of Jews, he spent about 13 years journeying through Italy, Greece, Palestine, Persia, and the western borders of China, returning by way of Egypt and Sicily. Through the itinerary contains errors and treats places he may not have visited. It remains valuable. I want to say this again. This is in the Encyclopedia of Britannica. Okay. This would be a consensus site since they like to use the consensus for establishment. Why is this the consensus for establishment? Because as you can see here, Swati Chopra adds a new website, Jewish Encyclopedia Biography of Benjamin Tudela. Okay, so they pull the information, extract the information from a Jewish website. So this is not Sean making it up. This is the Britannica, which is going to be a critical source in this conversation, because what it just basically did, right, was lay the groundwork in who Tudela was. So I'm going to read it again, and I'm going to do it slow for the people in the back who may be Israelites. I'm sure I'm going to get a thumbs down if I do get one. Benjamin of Tudela, all right, is a rabbi who was the first known European traveler to approach the frontiers of China, whose account of his journey, the Itinerary of Benjamin of Tudela, illustrates the situation of Jews in Europe and Asia in the 12th century. So immediately they're telling you right now, this is about Jews in Europe and Asia. However, motivated by commercial interests as well as a desire to learn of the conditions of Jews, he spent about 13 years journeying through Italy, Greece, Palestine, Persia, and the western borders of China, returning by way of Kemet and Sicily. Though the itinerary contains errors and treats places he may not have visited, it remains valuable. The key word in this is that the itinerary contains errors. So from the onset, we have already established before we deal with the itinerary that it contains errors. So where are these errors specifically stating? We're only concerned with this part of it. When he was returning from China and he came through Kemet, because the Hebrew Israelites are trying to insinuate that they had a Jewish presence on the continent of Africa and they're trying to elaborate on how big the establishment was and how many of them it was and how they traded on the continent, and they already had knowledge of and a presence of Israelites. They're trying to put Israelites in West Africa during a certain time period where there was no Ghana, which is the point of contention here. If anything, it would have been a Wagadu. But we're talking about the 12th century. Okay, so that's going to put them around the 1100s, the mid 1100s to the mid late 1100s. So there's a time period between 59 and 73. Almost, he's 13 years. He's a known traveler, and the Jewish community looks at him as a primary source. So now we know who Benjamin Tudela is. Let's get into what Wiki has to say. Right? We know who he is, and now we know the itinerary contains errors. Now, they tried to laugh this off yesterday, but here is the map of Benjamin Tudela travels. Now, initially, two brothers on Garfield's channel was arguing that Tudela traveled to Central and South Africa, and one even included West Africa. They did. Both of them did. They agreed upon that. And then they didn't present the source. Once the source was presented, I began to look and scrutinize the source, looking for the information. When I went looking for the information, it took me places that did not state Central or South Africa or West Africa, but that this dude stayed and traveled in Northeast, which really he wasn't even there long. He was everywhere else. And this is the map of his travels. He was a Mediterranean type of a traveler. You see what I'm saying? He was a Mediterranean type. And now we have people trying to use genetics to make people that ain't even related to us. It's craziness. This is his travels. So again, I know there's a few people who joined us late. Please like the show, share the show. I'm going to run back over this real quickly so I don't lose anybody. All right, we're dealing with Benjamin Tudela and the itinerary of Benjamin Tudela. We know that he was a rabbi who was known for his European travels. He was the first known European traveler. Okay, he traveled to China, to the frontiers of China, right? And then he came on through back another way. Now, he wrote an itinerary. In his itinerary, he shows situations of Jews in Europe and Asia in the 12th century. They're specific, Europe and Asia. Now, he was motivated by commercial interests as well as a desire to learn about the condition of Jews. He spent 13 years journeying through Italy, Greece, Palestine, Persia, and the western borders of China. His returning trip was by way of Egypt and Sicily. Though the itinerary contains errors and treats places he may not have visited, it remains valuable. So we know that there's places that he did not visit, and then we know that the itinerary contains errors. Now we know that this is his travels. All of this is his travels. All of this. He goes on. All of this. Look, he goes all the way through here. He even comes back. Spent a little time around Baghdad in the Tigris and the Euphrates. Comes down here, he dealing with Arabs. Coming back up here, he dealing with, he all through this little thick Arab little spot. He ain't even really around Jerusalem a whole lot. He more so around there. Then he gets to this tip of where he dealing with, you know, China over there somewhere. He get as far, you know, as India and all that. Then he come back around here, right? Close to the Horn of Africa, in the Red Sea. We know Arabs at this time are trying to establish trade routes with people in the Horn of Africa. They're doing it. They're going back and forth. Then you get he come back up here through the Red Sea, and then he get to dealing with people over here. Now the point of contention is about to be made, because when he get up in here, he go down to Cairo and Fayum, right? And then Alexandria, and then he comes on back on through going home. Okay? Now, ladies and gentlemen, large Jewish communities are in dark blue. That's here and that's here. Medium-sized Jewish communities are in lighter shades. That's here, 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 all over here. He shows a lighter shades of communities in Kemet, Alexandria, all up in that, Cairo, all up in that area, and especially North Africa. Okay? Small Jewish communities, he shows like little lines going through it, but we don't see any lines going through it, and we don't see it in the South or even in the Horn or nowhere like that. That's how the map is broken down. Can y'all see that? Let me zoom in. Let me see if I can help y'all out. That should help y'all out a little bit. Okay. Now, that's the map. We know who Benjamin of Tudela is. We just seen his travel map. It identifies it right here. They pulled the information from a Jewish website. So here we go. All right. Now, I'm going to scroll all the way up to the itinerary so people understand where I'm going. I'm going to work backwards. I'm going all the way up. Okay. Now, for the audience, okay, this is the table of content. Here you go, right here. Okay, this is the ebook, the Project of Gutenberg ebook. This is the Itinerary of Benjamin of Tudela. This is a critical text translation and commentary by Marcus Nathan Adler. All right, 1907 first edition. All right, printed in Jerusalem. Okay, here's the itinerary. He talks about Muslims in the Middle Ages, the objects of Benjamin's journey, the bibliography, the itinerary, translation to Hebrew, Europe. Then he starts naming all these cities he's been to and crossed up with and all of that. Okay. So in the introduction, he talks about Islam. I don't want to get into that. Right. I want to go directly for the argument. As you can see here, I'm looking for Africa, Abyssinia and Nubia in Egypt. Look what it says. Ghana, Desert of the Sahara, Fayum, Elohim, and Cairo. Alexandria. So this is our cause of concern. This is weird now. Egypt to Ghana, then the desert, all of that. Boom. Okay. So I'm gonna have to zoom in and I'm gonna have to do like this so y'all can read. All right. Page 97, but footnote 179. And we got where we're going on page 67. I don't know if this is going to be easy to read if you're on your cell phone, but I'm going to read it for you. It says here, we're going to read this whole thing, and then we're going to deal with the footnote. It says, from Aswan, it is a distance of 12 days to Halun, where there are about 300 Jews. Thence people travel in caravans, a journey of 50 days, through the great desert called the Sahara, to the land of Zalawa, which is Havilah in the land of Ghana, Gana. That's the point of contention. In this desert, there are mountains of sand, and when the wind rises, it covers the caravans with the sand, and many die from suffocation. Those that escape bring back with them copper, wheat, fruit, all manner of lentils, and salt. And from thence they bring gold and all kinds of jewels. This is the land of Cush, which is called El-Habash, on the western confines. From Halloween, it is 13 days' journey to Kuntz, which is Kus, and this is the commencement of the land of Egypt. At Kuntz, there are 300 Jews. Thence it is 300 miles to Fayum, which is the Pintham, where there are 200 Jews. And until this very day, one can see ruins of the buildings which our forefathers erected. I don't know what the hell he's talking about here. Okay. Now, we go back to the point. Though the itinerary contains errors and treats places he may not have visited, it remains valuable. Okay, so we go to 179 because there's a mention of Ghana. Okay, we read earlier where he said he went. It did not mention anything about West Africa, but the notion that it mentions the Sahara has gotten these people going stupid. So we go to footnote 179. I don't know if you can see this clearly. I'm not going to try to zoom in because I don't know if it's going to give it, but I'm going to give you the business. Footnote 179 states, Helun is the present Helwan. So let's look this up. Because he names it one thing, Helun is the present Helwan. Helwan is a city in Egypt and part of a greater Cairo on the bank of the Nile, opposite the ruins of Memphis. Originally a southern suburb of Cairo, it serves as a capital of the now defunct Helwan government from April 2008 to 2011, after which it is a reincorporated into Cairo governorate. Now, the Kizm of Helwan had a population of 600,000 people. So it says Helwan, 14 miles from Cairo, which was greatly appreciated by the early caliphs for this thermal sulfur springs. Stanley Lane Poole in the Story of Cairo, page 61, tells us of its edifices and adds, it is curious to consider how nearly this modern health resort became the capital of Egypt. Helwan is situated on the right bank of the Nile. One would have thought that the caravans proceeding the interior of Africa through the Sahara Desert would have started from the left bank of the Nile. So immediately they are saying the Sahara Desert starts on the right bank of the Nile. Let's see if that is true. So here we have Helwan. But let's look at a map. Because, ladies and gentlemen, this is where all the confusion comes in. When the word Sahara is mentioned, people believe that the Sahara is specifically only related to West Africa. So on the map that I am pulling up now, Hopefully everybody can see it. If I can put it up. All right. Let me go back. On the map, right here, the Sahara Desert map, it says it. This is as best as I can zoom in on this map. Right here. Everybody can see it. In orange is the Sahara Desert, ladies and gentlemen. The Sahara Desert is all right here. In the itinerary, it says the Caliphs for, all right, it says Helwan 14 miles from Cairo, which was greatly appreciated by the Caliphs for its thermal sulfur springs. Stanley Lane Pool in the story of Cairo 61 tells us of the edifices and adds. It is curious to consider how nearly this modern health resort became the capital of Egypt. Helwan is situated on the right bank of the Nile. One would have thought that the caravans proceeding to the interior of Africa through the Sahara Desert would have started from the left bank of the Nile. But we must remember that ancient Memphis, which stood on the left bank and faced Helwan, had been abandoned long before Benjamin's time. Idrisi and Abdulfida confirmed Benjamin's statement respecting Zawali or Zaula, which was the capital of Ghana. The modern day Fezzan, a large oasis in the Sahara Desert south of Tripoli. So when we go back to the map, now let's look up modern day Fezzan, because that's what it is. Now it says south of Tripoli. So here go Tripoli. You see it on my map. You see it on the map right here. Tripoli. So it's south of Tripoli. If Tripoli is right here, it's south of Tripoli. Here go Tripoli. Let's go back. It says south of Tripoli. Look where Tripoli is. There is Fezzan. Where is Fezzan? Let's look up and see where Fezzan is. Let's do this. Fezzan Ghadames, French occupation. Its region, North Africa, group, Libya area. This is where it is. Fezzan, look at the desert. Okay, Fezzan is southwestern region of Libya, and it is mostly rugged desert, broken up by mountains, dry riverbeds, wadis, with scattered oases and ancient towns and villages. Ghadames is an oasis town in west of Libya near the borders of Algeria and Tanzania. Fezzan and Ghadames were governed by a French military authority until they were separated in 1949. Okay? So, here go the map. I'm trying to see if it's going to let me pull the map up by itself. I don't think so. All right, so open image in a new tab. There we go. Now I can zoom. There go Ghadames over here. So the itinerary says, okay, Idrisi and Abul Fida confirmed Benjamin's statement respecting Zawila or Zaula, which was the capital of Ghana. the modern Fezzan, a large oasis in the Sahara Desert south of Tripoli. Okay, so back to the map. Here's Tripoli right here, and south of that is Fezzan. What is next door to that? You have this place here, but you have ding, 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 Egypt over here. Now, let's go back to the itinerary, because this point 179, is what they are using to argue. But listen, they start here. So I'm going to read it how they've been reading it. I'm going to read it just how they've been reading it. Right here. Thence the land of Aswan is a journey of 20 days through the desert. This is Seba, not Sheba, Seba, on the river Physon or Nile, which descends from the land of Cush. And some of these sons of Cush have a king whom they call the Sultan al-Habash. There is a people among them who, like animals, eat of the herbs that grow on the banks of the Nile, and in the fields they go about naked and have no intelligence of ordinary men. See that? That's how you know. That's how you know it's. Oh man. Anyway, they cohabit with their sisters and anyone they find. The climate is very hot. When the men of Aswan make a raid into their land, they take with them the bread and the wheat, dry grapes, figs, and throw the food to these people who run after it. Thus they bring many of them back prisoners and sell them in the land of Egypt, in the surrounding countries, and these are the black slaves, the sons of Ham. For Aswan, it is a distance of 12 days to Helawan, where there are about 300 Jews. Thence people travel in caravans journey of 50 days through the great desert called the Sahara to the land of Zawali, which is Havilah in the land of Ghana. In the desert, there are mountains of sand. When the wind rises, it covers the caravans in sand, and many die from suffocation. Those that escape bring back with them copper, wheat, fruit, all manner of lentils and salt. And from thence they bring gold of all kinds and jewels. This is the land of Cush, which is called al-Habash on the western confines. From Helawan it is 13 days' journey to Kuntz, which is Kus, and this is the commencement of the land of Egypt. At Kuntz there are 300 Jews. Thence it is 300 miles to Fayum, which is the Python, where there are 200 Jews, and unto this very day, one can see ruins of the buildings which our forefathers erected there. So I want to go back to point 178, footnote 178, and let's see what footnote says. Aswan, according to Makritsi, was a most flourishing town prior to 1403, when more than 20,000 of the inhabitants perished. Seba cannot be identified. Seba cannot be identified. Seba cannot be identified. Seba cannot be identified. You out of here, Gideon. You out of here, Don Law, because you sit here and try to say this is the land of Sheba, and then bring it all in and try to tie all of that in there and talk about all that old Assyria and all that. You mixing it up. No doubt our author alludes to Seba, a name repeatedly coupled in scripture with Egypt, Cush, and Havilah. But Halloween is the present Halawan, 14 miles from Cairo, which was greatly appreciated by the early caliphs for the thermal sulfur springs. Stanley Langpool in the story of Cairo, page 61, tells us other edifices and adds, it is curious to consider how nearly this modern health resort became the capital of Egypt. Helawan is situated on the right bank of the Nile. One would have thought that the caravans proceeding to the interior of Africa through the Sahara Desert would have started from the left bank of the Nile. But we must remember that ancient Memphis, which stood on the left bank and faced Halawan, had been abandoned long before Benjamin's time. Idrisi and Abul Fida confirmed Benjamin's statement respecting Zaula, which was the capital of Ghana, the modern day Fezzan, but it says the modern Fezzan, a large oasis in the Sahara Desert south of Tripoli. We're back to the map. We're back to the map. It says south of Tripoli. In the footnote, you see at the very top here, it has Zalawa, the place that was mentioned here. So it was over here and it goes south. You got Gadamas over here, but you come on down south and it mentions what the hell they talking about. Oh, you don't believe me? Okay. So you got your little spot over here that they're talking about. But this is all the Sahara. Let's go back. What an image of the Sahara at? That was bad. I shouldn't have did that. I wonder if they got one better down below. It don't even matter. We could just use whatever we want to use. But I'm really trying to see if I can get some other places here. If I can get the cities. I was trying to see if I can get the cities on here, but it looked like that I can't get the cities. So let me see. Let me see if this helps. All right, let's see if I can open up on another tab and zoom in. All right, so this is the Sahara Desert, ladies and gentlemen. You see this? They darken it out for us to make us see how big the Sahara is. The Sahara goes all the way into Kemet. You see it? In Upper and Lower Kemet. Right? It goes there. Look, Sudan, Chad, Niger, Mali, Nigeria, Mauritania. It does all of that. The Sahara goes. You got Libya up here. You got Tripoli up here. South of Tripoli is Fezzan. You got Fezzan over here. There's a little spot right here that they're talking about. This is not West Africa. They don't even talk about how many Jews was in this particular spot. They are specifically saying that how far the travel is to right here from over here, Cairo. They were in Cairo. They were literally in Cairo. Let's say Cairo is right over here. They had to come all the way across here into the Sahara and come down to right here. The Hebrews are trying to say that these Jews that was way over here was traveling with was trading with people way over here in this area, way over here in 1100 AD. More specifically, Ghana, because this Mali over here. So you're gonna be somewhere around here. It's Mali. Yeah, you're gonna be somewhere around right here, because this is Benin, I think. So I think this got to be Ghana. Benin, well, nah, Benin, right over, yeah, over there. Then you get, I don't know, I'm mixing it up. But this Ghana, I know this is Ghana. This Ghana, because of Ouagadougou right here. Because of Ouagadougou is right here where, you know, the land of the Massa and all that. You got all this going on right here. So I know I'm good right here. These people are trying to say that these people that was 300 Jews that was way over here was trading way down here with people that they ain't never seen before. They would have died soon they came over here. They wouldn't even made it through the Sahara. So they taking these people from way up here, these little 300 people. These Jews said that they were trading. No, they were trading with people that was in Libya. Right over here in this area, right over here. If not here, they were trading here, Gadamas. If they wasn't trading Gadamas, they were trading here. They had no you know, there's no records or conversations of these people in 1100s being way over here and trading with people in Ouagadougou. The itinerary says it. So where could the confusion come in at? Let's look further at the itinerary written in the Journal of African History by Robert Hess. Bear with me because I'm going to do some reading. And it's the last 2 pages in the journal. This is one of the many mistakes. To this impressive trade network must be added its westernward extension to the route of the Halawan to the Fezzan. It says it right here. Halawan to the Fezzan. That's what the hell Ghana was called, the Gana, which was mentioned in the itinerary. This is why they say in the in the Britannica and other places, even Wiki, that he could not have traveled certain places and that the information is shaky. However, they trust it. To the right of Halawan to the Fezzan by way of Sawu Oasis, I would add the lesser known route of the Nile tributaries from Alawa to the northwest to Zalawi in the Fezzan. Evidently, Zalawi, like Sabid, Aswan, and Alexandria. Damn, my bad. For anybody following along, was an important entry point for merchants from the Nile Valley, North Africa, and the western and central Sudan. It is significant that at this point, Benjamin wrongfully identifies Zawali. Listen to me, y'all. Benjamin wrongly identifies Zawali with the land of Ghana. His error may be attributed to his Muslim informant who identified the lands west of Zawali as Ghana, the land of the blacks. Here too, the ramifications of trade are many. The Arab geographers clearly indicate that trade was relatively well developed between the Fezzan and Canaan to the south, as well as the western Sudan, despite the difficulties of the desert crossing. This author is specifically saying trade was well too, but he's not talking about no Jews doing trading over there in the area. He's just specifically stating trade. These Jews are not even affiliated with what's going on in West Africa at all. He's only mentioning Arabs here. Hess mentions Arabs, and he even mentions the era that Benjamin wrongfully identifies Awali with the land of Ghana. His error may be attributed to his Muslim informants who identified the lands west of Zawali as Ghana. I'm going to continue. The Arab geographer clearly indicated that trade was relatively developed between the Fezzan and the Canaan and blah, 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 blah. It must have been a profitable trade, not only in the commodities mentioned by Benjamin, gold and precious stones, but also in the goods brought to Zawali from the Nile Valley. Copper, wheat, various kinds of fruits and legumes and salt. The last item, of course, has always been an important commodity in trans-Saharan commerce. One may as well ask, however, why bulky or perishable goods like cereals and fruits were involved in the trade, especially in so much as Zawali has been described as a fertile oasis. Part of the answer lies in the fact that the main grain crop of those oases was millet, durra, or sorghum. The Arab rulers, it may have been hypothesized, brought with them their Middle Eastern preference for wheat as a staple of life. Indeed, even in the 19th century, Barth found that throughout the central Sudan, wheat was considered the prized dish of Arab princes. For wheat and rice, the general rule in Negro land is that they fetch double the price of native corn. Although the itinerary is less useful for the purpose of political history, it does give some insight into the scope of political structure in northeastern Africa in the 12th century. Northeastern Africa in the 12th century. Benjamin of Tudela suggests that the area contains some extremely primitive people who were at the mercy of slave raiders from Aswan. Somewhat more developed were the Arab tribes of the Madam of the Beja, who lived in nomadic life and apparently with impunity frequently raided the sedentary people of the Nile Valley. No mention is made of kingship, and we may assume with a fair degree of certainty that the political organization was tribal. Again, this would rule out the Falasha, who according to their own traditions had a fairly clearly defined dynastic succession of kings and queens, at least in the 10th and the 17th century, and probably in the 12th century as well. More highly developed was the Arab-dominant city-state at Aswan, with its semi-feudal emir or sultan, strategically situated on the trade routes of Egypt and the Red Sea. Aswan's prosperity and stability was part of the dependent of its trading economy and location, and part of the ability to withstand raids from nomadic neighbors to the east and presumably also to the west, and in part of this political isolation from Egypt, which ended with Saladin's invasion in 1172 and 73. Thus, Benjamin provides some information about Aswan on the eve of its loss of independence. The most highly developed political institutions were probably those in Nubian Christian kingdoms, and it is here, unfortunately, that Benjamin is least helpful. Trial excavations by Shinius in 55 at Soba, not Seba, Soba, the capital of Alawa, indicated that they are flourished between the 9th and 12th centuries. Yet, like the once powerful kingdoms of Makara and Dongola, Alawa was no doubt weakening, and his ability to resist nomadic incursions had apparently declined. Christian Nubia was fair prey for the loot and plunder of the hands of Benjamin's Jews, the Beja. If this author is correct in his interpretation of the passage dealing with the Halawan or Alawa, then this Christian Nubian kingdom, though still shrouded in mystery in the 12th century, did at least continue to have trading connections with the West and with the East, as did its predecessor states in the Nile Valley. It is unfortunate that Benjamin the merchant paid so little attention to those political factors which doubtlessly affected the economic prosperity of all of the Northeast Africans from the Red Sea to the Fezzan. This is the issue, Mika, because I think you're still in the chat. When you initially began to communicate with me with your Hebrewisms, this is the issue. Now, you seen what they did to me on that channel. I began to talk, and they would kick me to the back room, and they wouldn't let me come out with my points. Then they started playing a video. I was literally talking, and then they kicked me out and played a video while I was trying to talk. So I couldn't, and muted my mic, and I couldn't say nothing. Then they wouldn't even let me back on the channel. Then they make a certificate talking about the death of Sean. Then they wrongfully affiliated me with another group of people that I, you know what I'm saying, that I mess with, but I'm not a part of that particular regime. I'm just heavily connected with the head. But that was just disingenuous of them to actually do. So we had this information. The problem is they did not want to go to the footnotes in the itinerary where it clearly establishes, because guess what? They said I need to read a book, right? Apparently they ain't read no books, because they tried to use a source to justify that Jews in Kemet, in Cairo, was trading thousands of miles in Ghana. Look how far they got to go to travel with people. The culture ain't following them. It's only 300 of y'all. All 300 of y'all ain't leaving there to go trade. Y'all went to go trade in Libya. Like I said, you went to Libya on foot. You ain't had no camels. You ain't have nothing. You had to put it to foot. If you want to claim those people, they put it to foot. My bad, y'all. For people who were actually trying to read what I was reading, my bad. Because I could have zoomed in. So I'm going to go back. And I want y'all to see it for yourself. I'm going to zoom in again. I'm on page 22 of Buddy Work, Journal of African History. In the very first paragraph, everybody should be able to see what I just read. Everybody should see what I just read. To this impressive trade network must be added its westward extension. Now remember, the point of contention is the Sahara. They think that the Sahara is smaller than really what it is. They don't know that the Sahara stretched to Libya all the way through Egypt. They don't know that the Sahara does that. So they immediately thinking the Sahara is got to be dealing with West Africans. They say westward extension. They hear the word west, so now they're looking to West Africa. They ain't even looking at maps. Then it says to the route of the Helawan to the Fezzan by way of Sawa Oasis. I would add the lesser known route from the Nile tributaries from Alawa to the northwest to Zawela in the Fezzan. Evidently, Zawali, like Zabid, Aswan, and Alexander, was an important entrepot for merchants from the Nile Valley to North Africa and the western and central Sudan. It is significant that, that at this point, Benjamin wrongly identifies Zawali with the land of Ghana. His error may be attributed to his Muslim informants who identified the lands of west of Zawali as Ghana, the land of the blacks. Now, I know everybody, I don't know if you're on your cell phone, it might be hard for you to read this because of the zoom in, but if you're on an iPad or a laptop or something like that, it's clear as day. You can see exactly what I am presenting. I don't understand why I can't get it right for a cell phone, but I apologize for the inconvenience. But what I'm trying to do here, ladies and gentlemen, is I am trying to tell you that they have misrepresented the itinerary of Benjamin of Tudela. The itinerary is to show a Jewish presence from the Mediterranean all the way to the western part of China through Saudi Arabia. Then he sees 300, a total, actually, let's be real. He mentions a total of 500 Jews in a particular area. 300 in one area, 200 in another area in Kemet, or close to or south of that near the land of Cush, closely to Aswan. Then he says they travel from that point to Ghana. But the Ghana that he's mentioning is modern day Fezzan, Fezzan, which is in Libya. Them fools argued me up and down, talked about me, cussed me out, said I needed to read a book, do all of these things, but they could not read the footnotes that clearly tells them that this is where this man made a mistake. And he made a mistake because of a Muslim informant. So we don't even know the credibility of the Muslim informant. And this goes back to what the Encyclopedia of Britannica stated, that there was errors in his work. However, the Jews seem to take it as face value, errors and all. But we have a section in the so-called conscious community or this online community that believes the itinerary justifies a Jewish presence, which puts them on the continent of Africa and make these Jews that he's talking about Israelites. What is going on? Now they're trying to use genetics. Okay, I can bring up the other brother name. I mean, I don't rock with him or anything, but Ankh, Nahisi, and what's the dude name, man? What's the dude name? The genetics, big on genetics. I know his name is Amir. His real name is Amir. Ngozi. Before y'all even said it, came up. Ngozi, Nahisi are really big on genetics. They're really big on it. Like they really get into the intricacies of genetics. Ngozi goes further sometimes than the but Nahisi is really big on genetics. He just don't say nothing to anybody. He keeps his conversations restricted to us in the back chat. And then when he needs to come out and dagger some people, he'll make a post and then sit back and see what y'all think about it. But the point here is simple, that these people took Ghana, or the sound of Ghana, meaning Ghana in West Africa. They took that and they ran with it, and then they tried to put it and say, well, he didn't travel to West Africa. This is what they said yesterday. They said that he didn't travel to West Africa. You arguing a straw man. His informants or the Jews that he was talking about traveled to West Africa. But there's nowhere in his itinerary that says that Jews traveled to the land of the blacks for trade. Never mentions that. Listen, we just read the itinerary. Am I making it up? No. Okay, so let's go back to the itinerary. What does the itinerary say? This is the footnotes. So I'm going to go back to 79, which gets back to the itinerary. We read this part. We read this part. The first two top paragraphs. We read them. Let me spread my screen so laptop people can see. Then it says, thence to Mizoram is a journey of 4 days. The Mizoram is the great city situated on the banks of the Nile, which is Pison and El Nil. The number of Jews inhabitants is around 7,000. 2 large synagogues are there, one belonging to the men of the land of Israel, and one belonging to the men of the land of Babylon. The synagogue of the men of the land of Israel is called the Knesset el-Shayim, and the synagogue of the men of Babylon is called the Knesset el-Akarim, Arakiyim. Their usage with regard to the portion of the sections of the law is not alike. For the men in Babylon are accustomed to read a portion of every weekend is done in Spain, and is our custom to finish the law each year, whilst the men in the Palestine do not do so, but divide each portion into 3 sections and finish the law at the end of 3 years. The 2 communities, however, have an established custom to unite and pray together to on the day of rejoicing of the law and the giving of the law among the Jews of Nathaniel and the prince of princes and the head of the academy. Now, I ain't finna keep reading all that gibberish. I don't believe nothing. I don't believe nothing after you know, it's too many errors in here. But we're looking for trade. He's talking about what he's seeing, but he ain't talking about Jews traveling. He ain't got no informant saying the Jews traveled to West Africa. West Africa does not even show up anywhere in the itinerary, ladies and gentlemen. They don't have a West African source during the time of Benjamin Tudela that tells them that these Jews was going to West Africa and trading with West Africans. Not a one. They talking about travels 50 days and this, that, and the third. You on foot, man. It's 1150 something AD. The Jews wasn't even fortunate enough to ride camels, y'all. They can't take no horses in the Sahara. It's sand right there. They traveled through the Sahara on foot. It was tough for them to go where they were trying to go. We clearly have distinguished where these people traveled at when we looked at the map. So what I brought to you guys was the actual defining who Benjamin Tudela was, his itinerary, what he said in the itinerary, what was identified as errors by admission by the Britannica. Wiki even supports the errors in the Wiki article, and I'll show y'all that. And Hess even pulls out the errors. And then we looked at the maps. We looked at two maps. We looked at the two maps to identify where these places were. And for one, where was this so-called Ghana, which was modern-day Fezzan, is located south of Tripoli, which is Libya. And then we looked at a map that showed the Sahara. And these Jews is not walking from Cairo, 200 or 300 of them, not even 5, across the Sahara, because it already told us in the passage. It told us 179. It says something about, oh, here you go. In the desert, there are mountains of sand, and when the wind rises, it covers the caravans with sand, and many die from suffocation. This is just to get to Fezzan. So that doesn't make sense at all. So yeah, you need to get with Nahisi. Nah, we don't deal with no Nahisi coach, bro. Nahisi the Masa. What else in there? So basically, what we have here is we have Hebrew hijacking, another Hebrew hijacking. Because from the onset, when we defined who Benjamin Tudela was, he was a rabbi who was the first known European traveler, and they hang their hats on this European traveler to approach the frontiers of China, and whose account of his journey was the itinerary of Benjamin of Tudela, illuminates the situation of Jews in Europe and Asia in the 12th century. Motivated by commercial interests as well as a desire to learn the conditions of Jews, he spent 13 years traveling through Italy, Greece, Palestine, Persia, and the western borders of China, returning by way of Egypt and Sicily. Though the itinerary contains errors and treats places he may not have visited, it remains valuable. So when we did that, we looked at the map. The map doesn't show any flow toward West Africa, so he didn't travel there. We uncovered that his Muslim, right? We uncovered, right, that his Muslim source, okay, his Muslim source, right here, It is significant that at the point of Benjamin wrongfully identified Sewela with the land of Ghana. His error may have been attributed to his Muslim informants who identified the lands of west of Zawali as Ghana, the land of the blacks. We clearly see that his source was bad. So we walked you through the lands. We showed you on a map. We talked about what pheasant was. We looked and seen what pheasant is because this is what they call Ghana, G-A-N-A. Pheasant is located in Libya. The whole dang on, Libya is covered dang by the Sahara. They were just steadfast at the Sahara only being restricted to Central and West Africa. The Sahara couldn't be as big as it is. And now that you see it on the map, you now can draw a clear distinction and see where the errors are because they said, I didn't read books. Well, you have no research methodology because you needed a map. You needed to read the footnotes. You needed to have identified that, oh, wait a minute. They're not talking about South like South. They're talking about when he says south of Tripoli, he's talking about south of Tripoli. Yet you're talking about Assyria. So you're trying to go way down there in Ethiopia and get into all of that. Well, we still don't even get to Ethiopia. So let's see if we can get to Ethiopia, right? Let's hit Command F. And let's get to Ethiopia. Okay. Now we find Ethiopia in 167. It said it should be remembered that Cush in the ancient Jewish literature does not always signify Ethiopia. See, y'all don't read. Okay. Why y'all don't read is beyond me. But you sit here and you put this front on as these people were talking about Ethiopia. It says, it should be remembered that Cush in ancient Jewish literature does not always signify Ethiopia, but also denotes part of Arabia, especially those nearest to Abyssinia. The name Cush is also applied to countries east of the Tigris. Then it tells me to see page 63. So let's go to the footnote. So now we're at the footnote 168. And it says this: they are in the league with the Kafur el Tariq, who worship the wind and live in the wilderness, and who do not eat bread nor drink wine, but live on raw uncooked meat. They have no noses, and in the lure thereof they have two small holes, through which they breathe. They eat animals, both clean and unclean. And they are very friendly towards the Israelites. 15 years ago, they overran the country of Persia with a large army and took the city of Ray. They smote in the edge of the sword, took all the spoil thereof, and returned by the way of the wilderness. Such an invasion had not been known in the land of Persia for many years. When the king of Persia heard thereof, his anger was kindled against them, and he said, not in my days, nor in the days of my fathers, did any army sally forth from this wilderness. Now I will go and cut off their name from the earth. A proclamation was made throughout his empire. He assembled all his armies, and he sought a guide who might show him in the encampment. And certain man said that he would show him the way, as he was one of them. Blah, 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 blah. They came there on the Sabbath and encamped in the gardens of plantations and by the spring of water, which they have aside of river Gazon. So let's go see what is river Gazon at. Okay. We don't get a dictionary hit on that. But it continues to go on and say a whole bunch of stuff. But it is referring to Persia. It's referring to Persia. Now it told me to go refer to page 63. So I'm gonna go back up I'm gonna go back up and I'm gonna go to page 63. I'm gonna have the itinerary take me to 63. Okay, right here. Look. This is 63. Katifa, Kalam, Kiliam, India. And here we go. So this for Gideon, because you kept bringing up where's Abyssinia at? Where's south of Abyssinia? So I really don't even have to do this at all. But even in your book, right? I mean, even in this work, it already told us in the footnotes what the business is. It should be remembered that Cush in ancient Jewish literature does not always signify Ethiopia, but also denotes parts of Arabia, especially those nearest to Abyssinia. The name Cush is also applied to the countries east of the Tigris. Where Eric at? I seen him in here. Black Line, where you at? You didn't shut up. He says those people get in their feelings anytime someone proves them incorrect, which is childish. Yeah, they had a whole little show, marked it up. They were celebrating that. Who talking about Atlantis? Oh, Pure. Boy, don't be listening to Pure. Lafayette, but Sean just answered my question about whether Igbos thought they got their Hebrew connection. Yeah, y'all having a good little time. So let me come off of that. Now, if any of them want to review that, review this video or review the breakdown, review the itinerary again, go in the footnotes of the itinerary, go look up Hess's journal in the African journal. If they want to go and do the actual work, if they want to pull up the maps, they want to look on the maps and they can demonstrate. Or if they even want to give up, I forget the lady name, and I don't got time to go back over there and watch the video because I'm not going to do that. I'm not going over there and get them another view. If I don't watch that, I'm definitely not going to watch the pseudo channels, other pseudo channels. If they Sutek said that's a lot of work. However, if they don't want to take the time to actually go in and do that and then try to figure out, they're going to come up with another argument. If they watch this video through and through, critique or try to defend it or whatever, they're going to find another way to do certain things. Maceo, if you want anything on genetics, you'll hear someday. So Sean, very thorough. Give thanks for your scholarship. Where do you attend university? I started at I started at Tennessee State University. I was there for 2 years. It was indictment season. So right when it was indictment season, and I transferred to Austin P. I shouldn't have never did that. I should have just stayed where I was at. But I thought out of sight, out of mind was the best play for me because they were really sweeping my neighborhood 2 or 3 times a week. And some other stuff had transpired. My little brother and his best friend and a chick had hit a lick, and a whole bunch of stuff was transpiring. And I had transferred up there, and I still was kind of handling my business. I would come home and be seasonal, but I handled my business in a way that I could stay afloat through college. I went up there, and my kinesiology teacher, I missed one day in her class, and Siobhan, she was pregnant at the time, and well, she wasn't pregnant, she had our son, and I missed because I couldn't take him to the sitter because he was sick, you know, couldn't be around other kids. And the lady told me, who was a baseball coach, that I can't miss her class. Missing her class, because I took it on like a Tuesday, told me that missing her class was unacceptable. It was more important than whatever I had going on. I said, well, my son was sick. And she still tied it like it was more important. So then I said, you know what? I got up and I left the class. I left that class. Kinesiology was the reason. And I ended up not finishing school behind it. I was a junior. So I don't have that long left to graduate from college, but it ain't the university that actually taught me any type of research methodology. I give credit to the University of Kemet Press for that. I give credit to the Amara Squad for that. I give credit to specifically, you know, Uncle Jawu and Asar. I give credit to the Seshu, you know, for rigorous study and, you know, allowing me to make errors and constant correction over there. That's the only way that I would be able to learn is through correction anyway. But just, you know, being around the right people helped develop the research methodology. And then I began to see how the tool actually flowed and worked, the scientific method and the historical methods and things of that nature. So I just stayed on methodology versus what other people were actually doing and just trying to just know information. Because you can know, I mean, you can know something and still be wrong. So you know, you can come to the correct conclusion incorrectly. If you can't demonstrate how you came to that conclusion, then it's null and void. So a Lafayette, I never really, I didn't graduate. I'm not finna sit here and tell you that I graduated college. I dropped out of college my junior year, second semester of my junior year. Kinesiology, which was one of the hardest classes I probably had to take, and I never thought about going back to school. I just decided to take care of my son, and if worse came to worse, then I was in the street. My son became my priority at that time, and I had to develop patience. So I got a job. I dropped out. I got a job, and I started hustling a different way. I started using Madden to pay my bills. I was making enough money off Madden to pay rent, feed myself for a month, take care of my responsibilities, pay daycare and all that. Yeah, so I'm gonna put the link in the chat, man, for anybody that wanna. I know we had a bunch of people in here, but they see I ain't presenting nothing anymore. So I'm gonna put the link in the chat for anybody that wanna actually come on and speak your speech, whether it's related to what we just went through with the whole Israelite bull crap, or if it's just something the Massa Warrior Clan. Nah, TSU didn't target me at all. When I said indictment season, it was around a time where, you know, they were doing sweeps in the city. And when you talk about indictment season, it's where a lot of people that's in the street, they getting picked up in the street. Man, I'll kill you, and man. And, you know, a lot of people end up in jail during that time. But see, I was in college, and to tell you the truth, when they did one sweep, they did a sweep on us when a dude said that he was buying some dope from me out of a particular house that that never happened. I was at TSU doing a research paper for my English, for my Black Arts and Literature class, which counted as a English credit, which Austin Peay didn't even accept that Black Arts and Literature as an accredited class. So I had to take a whole nother English class to even get the credit for English. So that's why I'm saying I should have never went to Austin Peay, because some of my credits from TSU that were related to like Black Arts and Literature, which was an English class, and then some other historical Black art stuff, they don't accept them at those white schools. So when I said indictment season, like a lot of people was getting picked up in the street. So I transferred to try to just stay low, keep my face off the scene, and then I just would go home and I would be in the street like maybe three or four times a year. And I would, in the times that I would be in the streets, those 3 or 4 times a year, I made a lot of money, and I made enough money to where I could sit on the money and take care of myself till I needed to jump back out there, which would mean I would need to make enough money because I paid my rent in advance because I was renting a little 2-bedroom house. So I'll make enough money to pay the rent for 4 months. So from the time I would start a semester to the time that I would start a semester to the semester end, I would need the rent money for that time. I would also need lights and water, and I knew on average what that would be. And then I had extra money for like food and stuff like that. And then I would let Madden buy me clothes and shoes and stuff like that. And then take care of other responsibilities. So Madden is a football game that's on PlayStation in Zynga. I understand you might not know that, but Madden, yeah, you can PlayStation. I played it on the PlayStation. I wouldn't call it accounting skills. I just basically would just say I knew I had to do what I had to do because I ain't had no family in Clarksville. It was just, well, I'm lying. I had my cousins, but both my cousins at the time, one of my cousins, he he stayed on campus, but I got him off campus into the house with me. But he he was playing football, so he had lunch and all that old stuff, and his pops and all that. My mama, what I'm saying, she really didn't do much for me at that time. She was struggling with her addictions and stuff, but go from there. But Sute, hop on the channel real quick, man. Talk about the genetics for me real quick. I need to step away for a second. Sute, come on here, man. Talk about what your part of the conversation with them same dudes dealing with genetics. It ain't gotta be long, bro. Even if you on your store run, because I know what time it is. I know you're on your store run or whatever it could be. I know you're hot and all that too. But hop on the channel for your bro, man. Just for a second. Speak your speech. Hold on one second, y'all. He finna hop on. That man that took himself all the way out of the stream, y'all. I let him in and he took himself out of the stream. Man, hop back on here, man. I had to let you in because you wasn't logged in or something like that. Yeah, Eric, that's correct. Hey man, all right. So with the Madden stuff, I used to go to a barbershop, and the barbershop that I would go with is this dude. He locked up now. He doing some fed time, but I don't want to mention his name. But he was in the street, but he also, he was doing a little dirt, but he also, you know, would always like it when I come up there. He held a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? He made a lot of money and stuff like that. So I would go up there, get my hair cut once a week. By this dude who just had got out of the pen. His name was Sean too. And we kind of clicked. And that dude was pretty cool. But I had a partner outside of that the dude that I was playing Madden had, some street beef with or whatever, but never really crossed paths like that. So we stayed with what we stayed with. But I used to play this dude for like $50 a game, and we talking about 2001. You know what I'm saying? So, I try to dub him real quick because if you dub him, it's double the money. So I used to dub him. And this around the time Fat Albert was famous. Fat Albert was like $150 jogging suit or something like that at the time. And in 2001, $150 Fat Albert jogging suit was like a $500 or $600 outfit today. So, you know what I'm saying? I used to make like, off that one dude, I used to make like $500 or $600. Now remember, I'm renting a 2-bedroom apartment. My rent was $450. I mean, not apartment, a house. 777 Cumberland Terrace, Clarksville, Tennessee, 37040, or it might be 42. Y'all can look at the house right now if you want to. 2-bedroom. It's on a little hill across the street from a graveyard. Yep. I'll make $450 off him. Then there was another dude named Larry. He in the same barbershop. The dude named Larry in the barbershop. I used to take him, and he was a barber. I used to beat him for about 150. You know what I'm saying? Beat him 150. Like he'll cut a couple of heads. I beat him, break him down. I used to kill him too. Used to kill him. And then I would play dudes on campus. You know what I'm saying? They would come to my house. You was just in here, Sute. Yeah, you was just in. So I would play people on campus, and you know what I'm saying? al-Sūdān on the game. So I'll play people on campus.
They fucking up these motherfucking fireworks still, man.
Okay, I got you. So I would play people on campus, and people on campus, you know what I'm saying? They didn't have a lot of money, so you'll win $10 here, $20 here. You know what I'm saying? You have to play a bunch of people to actually get paid, but they got this off-campus apartments. It's called the Whites. Now, this is Austin Peay. Now, the Whites, if you're familiar with the Whites, don't number white people stay in the Whites. And these were the kids who parents was rich. Now, there was this dude, his name was Mike, he from California. His father at the time was the CEO of Motorola. And this around the time cell phones popping. So his father was Bank. And there was this dude from Georgia. His name was dang, I can't think of his name. And then there was a dude named Matt. I used to play the white boys at the Whites for money. You know, I would play the dudes on campus, but they would only have $10, $20 here and there. But when I went to the whites to play them boys over there who parents got the money, shoot, I used to make $400-500 over there too. So you know what I'm saying? And we talking about in a day. So in about a week, I could easily make 2,000-3,000. And then if the game slow up, you know what I'm saying? I know I could at least make 600-700 because I ain't really need much to live. I done already paid my rent. All I need to do is take care of my son, get my hair cut. But at the time, I was growing braids, so I just get a line up and get my and get my hair braided. And I get that from a chick from the Caribbeans who would braid my hair. She would give me tight if my sister Tamara didn't give me tight. So I just, you know what I mean? You take what you learn from the streets and you apply it in other areas, and it makes you successful. So that's what I did. I just utilized what the streets taught me, and I implemented it in ways that helped me do things. And not selling drugs was a process. It made me patient. But also, my brother was locked up, and that was a big part of the influence as well, because my brother was locked up. I felt like half of me was gone because my brother was in there, and I couldn't defend my brother. You know what I'm saying? It was my little brother, so I couldn't defend him. And he was on like an 8, but you know, he only doing like 3 or 4. But even in that 3 or 4, he's somewhere. Sometimes I couldn't see him. Sometimes I could see him. Sometimes he wouldn't have what he needed at times, and then at times he had what he needed. So it was kind of like crazy like that, and they would move him around. But yeah, I utilized Madden to make my money. You know what I'm saying? And I use what I learned from the streets just to keep me afloat and survive. And if I ever needed to go back, you know what I mean? I had the credit to go back and do so. But you know, as far as researching and all that, nah, the college wasn't teaching me that. College wasn't teaching me that. And that's what made it so easy for me to walk away from the school, is because I was learning stuff, but I was learning the wrong stuff. I probably needed another major. But my friends and stuff that was graduating from college with these, so just found out that Mark Lamont Hill wasn't in Washington. So, you know, when I seen my friends that was graduating from business and they wasn't getting no real jobs and no real offers, I was like, that's some bull crap. You know what I'm saying? We going to school spending all this time trying to get a degree, and then they ain't getting an opportunity. My homeboy right now, he doing the same thing I'm doing, and he got a business degree. And before that, we both was selling cars. So, you know what I'm saying? It's craziness. But yeah, it's a part of my life. You know, I grew up in a project, so you see these things happen around you a lot. Whether you grew up in a project or in a neighborhood close to, you know, or in a hood where stuff go down. So you kind of live by what you see. Yeah, my brother been out. My brother out paper and all that. My brother cool. I'm finna see him tomorrow. Spend some time with him. Yep. Thank the white man, John Madden, John. All right, hold on 1 second for me. Yeah, Sutek, I don't know if you can speak or not, man. Man, tell the people what you dealt with in your area of the argument. Still on mute.
Yeah, so Berber Jews was mentioned. Well, they didn't say Berbers, but I'm telling them they's talking about Jews in the Sahara. When you talking about Jews in the Sahara, you dealing with Berbers. And basically they was like, well, Berbers, they are people, they are family. And I mean that's just confusing to me because you're dealing with a people when you're talking about Berbers, you're dealing with a people that is more closely related to Europeans and Eurasians than actually sub-Saharan Africans, like we are, like African Americans. So I just felt that was crazy, and I pulled up. Hold on, let me see. I pulled up one article, but I also pulled up the wiki page of the genetic history of North Africa and read to them. According to a paper published in 2007, most of the genetic studies in North African populations agree with the limited correlation between genetics and geography and show a high population heterogeneity in the region, meaning those people in North Africa, they share a lot of the same genetics. North African populations have been described as a mosaic of North African, Middle Eastern, European, and Sub-Saharan ancestries. This explains the current genetic structure in North Africa, characterized by diverse, heterogeneous populations, and why nearby populations inhabiting the same location might be genetically more distant than groups of people geographically distant. Oh, excuse me. Let me read that over again. This explains the current genetic structure in North Africa, characterized by diverse and heterogeneous populations, and why nearby populations inhabiting the same location might be genetically more distant than groups of people in geographically distant populations. A recent genetic study published in European Journal of Human Genetics in Nature in 2019 showed that Northern Africans are closely related to Europeans and West Asians, as well as to Southwest Asians. Northern Africans can clearly be distinguished from West Africans and other African populations dwelling south of the Sahara. So they're clearly telling you that these Berbers in North Africa are more closely related to West Asians, Southwest Asians, and Europeans than they are those people that are indigenous to below the Sahara, which we will refer to as the blacks. So how could they be your family? Those are your family. And then he went to go on to speak about haplogroups and showing the same common ancestor some tens of thousands of years ago. But I mean, you know, if that's the case, if you're gonna go back that far, you could say we related to you know what I'm saying? We say we related to Europeans as well. So I asked the brother, hey, so is Europeans our people as well, or is that your family too? He said, yeah. So I mean, that was it for me. That was my cue, man. If Europeans is your family as well, then I mean, there's nothing more I can say to that. That's just crazy.
Yeah, so once again, this is the case of them pulling out a new argument, right? This is
Right.
this is a new argument because let's talk about it. Fears of the Maaseh, Volume 1, you wrote about the Jews. Your whole point in Volume 1 was to deal with the Hebrew Israelites.
Right.
Right?
Jews
So,
being in West Africa, Weta.
right, Weta. You dealt with them using the Weta claim. So now they're no longer using, well, we can't say no longer using because we don't know if any new Israelites are going to come into the community, get famous, and start the cycle over again. So you wrote about that in Spills of the Maaseh Volume 1, and you dealt specifically with that claim. Is that not a claim that like someone like Tazariak or somebody used to use or something like that, or was that a divine prospect claim?
That was a Tazariak claim, and he was the one that actually kind of inspired me to write it. So yeah, definitely.
Okay. You see how I try to pull it out. All right. So from your time in dealing and your time in patiently, because you've been very patient, and your time with dealing with this particular sector of grown men, because it's really not the women that are leading this stuff, it's the men. So in your communications and your patience and your studying these people and their claims, they have been all over the place, have they not?
Yeah, they always all over the place. That's why it's hard to nail their ass down or something.
Right. So because every day they got a new claim.
Exactly.
And they don't even have proper research methodology to substantiate these claims. And this is why we end up in these conversations where we're at a loss if we go on their platforms. So it doesn't make much sense to me. Can we get some likes, y'all? Hit the like button, please. I see a bunch of people have jumped in and joined the action conversation. Hit the like button for the family one time, man. Please support us or thumb it down. It don't even matter. Give us a reaction. Thumb it up or thumb it down. I mean, you don't have to like me to thumb the video up. You know what I'm saying? I might not be your favorite person or anything like that, and that's fine. But, you know, support the channel, the Masi. I might be a member of the Masi, but support the other people that are affiliated with the channel. You know what I'm saying? And that helps us get our subscribers up and stuff. So, Sutek, you deal with them now. They're using genetics. Now I recall a time in the last 4-5 years they rejected DNA.
Yep, most of them did.
Okay, so when did Hebrew Israelites, from your understanding, no, maybe Mika in the chat might know this. And Mika, if you want to come on here and lie to us, that's fine. We know you're still an Israelite, but who was the first Hebrew Israelite in the so-called conscious community that began to utilize DNA to make an argument?
You might got me on that one. I don't know. Maybe a divine, or I don't know.
Have you seen this many amount? Okay. Have you seen this amount of Israelites, so-called Israelites, using DNA?
Nah, they say that's the white man science.
Right. So now all of them are saying, and even the dudes yesterday are starting to say, ain't nothing wrong with European scholarship. But just a year ago, it was an issue. How do they determine when it is acceptable and when it's unacceptable? Because it looks like now we're seeing a changing of the guard, right? We're seeing a changing of a guard, and they're using new arguments to rehash old arguments.
Yeah, man. I mean, like you said, they all over the damn place. One day, information is all right. Next day, it's unacceptable. It's really just if what they using lines up with their paradigm. That's what the shit seems like. If they feel like they can one up you with genetics, they're gonna use genetics.
I feel you on that. I don't think they no longer. I can't say nothing. I can't. I'll take everything back. But based on now, had I been able to do that demonstration that I just did with everybody on that channel, this video would never exist on the Masa Warrior Clan. This conversation wouldn't have never got to as long as it has gotten, and how many people that's in here right now. Because the way that they treated me over there led me to saying, okay, let it ride, or just do your own show and deal with it, and therefore you have a catalog. So if they do mention my name and people go to look for something, there it is. Juan's response. A clear-cut response. Uninterrupted. But I put the link in the chat, man, for anybody. Donnie, try to get on the chat, bro. You've been trying to talk for like 3 weeks. Hit the link.
Yeah, man, them guys crazy. He said, when he said Europeans is family to him, like, oh no, my dig, that's my cue. I'm out, bro. I can't do it.
After they said the white man the devil.
Right. What happened to that?
Yeah, which one is it?
The devil is your family?
They're gonna give you a Bible verse.
Yeah, you know the Most High made all of us or some crazy nonsense.
Yep. He said y'all related to Berbers. Yep. So are white people.
Yeah, shit. So is everybody if you trying to go back as far as they trying to go.
Mm-hmm. Donnie, I ain't doing that right now. That's a whole nother show. Which we already did one on. But in short, proper research methodology starts with a research question or research questions. What's the purpose of the research? Then you have to do a literature review. The literature review has to be centered in pros and cons. So you have to take an unbiased approach. If you take a biased approach to your research, you're going to come to a faulty conclusion based on a bias. So you have to open your mind and rid yourself of your biases. And you have to set out to answer the research questions based on a collection of data. Once you've got through, but before you can even move any further, your literature review, you have to be beyond your literature review. Your literature review, you're going to have to cross-reference the literature review, which is going to require you obtaining additional sources to substantiate that. You have to vet your sources. So you go in and you got to do all of these things. And then once you've got all your ducks in a row and your notes down, then you have to continue to follow the process. So before you even listen, and this is how you do it, before you even begin the presentation process or present your information, your research questions have to be written. Your hypothesis has to be written because it can't be tainted. It can't be some research. It can't be full of all these things and you're doing all of that. Then you have to test the hypothesis. So you got your reasons why you're doing this research. You pretty much framed your hypothesis. Now you have to test your hypothesis. And testing your hypothesis is going to come from what you've researched, your literature review. Does your literature review correct your, give you a conclusion toward the end, but you test your hypothesis, scrutinize it, and get it to a place. You advance it if it meets all the criteriums. If it's not meeting all the criteriums in the method, you have to reject it and start over, which would require you to rewrite your hypothesis and retest it. That data should be the supportive argument, unbiased, undisturbed. And when you come to your conclusion has to be based on the data, not your opinion, not your hypothesis, but the data. I've come to this conclusion based on the research. Not I've come to this conclusion based on the belief. Yeah, that's one form, Black Lion. One form of proper research methodology could be doing interviews. Another form could be doing polling or statistics. Another form is going to be like what I was mentioning, literature review. Another form would be like an online. You could like right now we could start as long as we know the tool, we could utilize it the way that we need to. I can poll everybody in this discussion right now, and then I can come up with a topic. I can come up with research questions. I can formulate my hypothesis, and a part of my qualitative work or quantitative work, I might be saying them backwards, would be polling everybody in the chat, right? So I'm a guess everybody's information in my hypothesis, and then I'm going to test it by polling everybody, and then I'm going to draw my conclusion based on the poll results. So is with proper research methodology, you have to have a model. You have to have a research model. What type of research are you doing, and what's the purpose of the research, and what is the end game in the research? What is the why? Why are we doing this? Like when you read our works, we go through that process. And when we make our conclusions, when we're wrapping up our chapters or we're wrapping up our books, we're letting you know ultimately overall, what has transpired based on information, not opinion. So there's different ways of doing that. But we got shows on there somewhere on here. It's just we got a lot of content, but a lot of people don't go back and watch some of our content. And you will see the development and the growth in our work if you go back and look at our work from a couple of years ago and bring it all the way forward to today. You will see the way that we do things we've improved in areas where earlier on you probably couldn't notice the flaws, but you would see the flaws if we redid all those presentations we did earlier on. And you got to thank people like I said, Asar, for moving the needle, pushing people to be better. You know what I'm saying? Demonstrate, promoting demonstration beats conversation. And just standing on that. You know what I'm saying? And each other. Because, everybody push each other to try to be better instead of arguing empty. Something forgiveness. Because I don't know what y'all talking about. I have to rewatch the video after a while I left. I don't know all the info. On what video? This video? Peace, Water, Lafayette, Esoteric, and Maceo. I don't think I spoke to y'all. Well, I know I didn't. I know I said something to Sanel. He came in. Sosa, I seen him pull up. I know Sosa busting blocks. I know I said something to Black Line, but he finally showed up, which means he was late when I said his name earlier. Or he had stepped out. But nah, man, I'm gonna put the link in it. I keep putting the link in the chat. Nah, Sutek ain't sleep. Sutek on that game. His mic mute. If he ain't on that game.
Nah, I'm right here. Hey, Maceo El Moro. What that name mean, fam?
Is he saying that he's a Moor? Is he saying
Moorish?
Is he saying Maceo the Moor or the Moro?
Shit, that what it look like. That's what I'm asking. Oh yeah, and that is a Moorhead. Oh yeah, that's a black Moorhead. You a Moor, bro? Or you think you a Moor?
I missed all this that you said. Oh no. Yeah, I did. I see what you put in the chat. Nah, hold on. I did read that. Didn't I read that?
What? Which one?
The one you highlighted. Yeah, I did. I read it.
Oh, okay.
Benjamin's statement respecting Zaula, which was the capital of Ghana, modern Fez, and the large oasis on the desert south of Tripoli. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
You got that from a whole different school. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
They done.
All the sources are saying this, bro. Mm. Greg said he only utilized the Bible for esoteric purposes. What?
Suda.
Mm-hmm.
Misuse said, my maternal lineage comes from South Morocco.
He lied. Macy, I will not believe you, bro. Put it on the screen. Come on here. Put it on the screen. We've been live for 2 hours. Dang, we've been live for 2 hours.
South Morocco. What's South Morocco? Like what? What part of it? What part of Morocco?
Uh-oh. Josie, I don't know who you are, but I see you defending your book. Like this show, share the show. Subscribe to the channel, Josie.
Said the Bible can teach valuable lessons. Yeah, but the problem is like we don't most of those lessons we don't have to have the Bible to tell us that. Like treat others how you want to be treated. Like we don't need the Bible for that.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need the Bible for that. And it caused too many problems, too many issues historically with quote unquote black people. No, that Bible was used as justification for slavery.
What's your maternal haplogroup, Maceo, since you ain't gonna hit the link?
Yeah, if your maternal haplogroup or your maternal line go back to South Morocco, then your mom's people was the ops.
His mom was the ops.
His mom's folks was no disrespect to moms.
Moms was the ops.
Yeah, man, them Berbers wasn't messing with no blacks. They had them blacks enslaved, making them do all the hard labor.
Mm-hmm.
Said U6.
Mm-hmm. And we know this according to Arabic scholarship.
Oh, they tell on themselves.
Yeah, Maceo, I think you making stuff up. Pull up that haplogroup.
U6.
Yeah. Let's take a look at that. We can go to Wiki.
There we go. U6. It's dated between.
Go to Origins.
Go to who?
Go to Origins. I want to show you something.
Possible place of origin, West Asia. Asiatic.
Look what else it say. It says haplogroup U has also been observed among ancient Egyptian mummies excavated at the Abusir el Malik archaeological site. That's why I said he made it up. He's being methodical.
He trying to be Egyptian.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I ain't gonna say he's trying to be Egyptian, but without us seeing his DNA, I ain't determining nothing. I'm not coming to no conclusion based on hearsay.
He said he didn't make it up.
Okay.
Come on.
Pull your stuff up. All you gotta do is hop on here and show your genetics, bro. Your admixture and all that. We gonna rock with you because I don't want you to think you're a lie or nothing.
Yeah, man.
Water, appreciate you coming through. You scared to show it? Mika come on here and show hers, man, and she the most pseudoest person I ever known in my life. I didn't even make this up. She trash pseudo with it too. Let me see if I can still remember my login. I'm finna pull mine up. Since the brother got an issue, I'm gonna pull mine up. My son live upstairs, bro. He on that game, or he on whatever he on ready. He on something.
Oh,
both of my sons.
Nika said you Jewish.
Yeah.
That shit, he called you a Hebrew. She said you Jewish.
I am. Yep, I got that J marker. What you gonna do about it? That lady, hey, I'm finna take over the screen real quick.
Shit, it came from Ethiopia and went into Levant and went back into North Africa. Yeah, bro, them Berbers. That's
right.
Berbers. What you
So now you're a Berber. Are you a Berber now?
My hair says I have the original melanin, the U melanin. Oh man, I'm gonna leave that alone.
Look, they getting better. They getting better with their stuff. Yep, they getting better with their stuff. Yep, they getting better with their stuff. So let me go and see what the latest updated information is.
Oh, yep, you 0.6% Hebrew.
Yeah, I'm in that dough. I'm in the dough. See, here we go. Although we take Nigerian DNA, your ancestral breakdown, we have not identified more. Okay. Okay. So they still ain't got to that part of it. All right. So British Irish ancestry, bro. British Irish ancestry. That was crazy. Look at that. 99% of your relatives have British Irish ancestry. How come I can't go to my the one I'm looking for? I think I keep going on the wrong page. I'm trying to go to admix. There you go. Look. There you go.
Get that J.
That J1C1. Channel. There y'all go. Mock me. I don't care.
Yeah, so said you a leprechaun.
Mm-hmm. You see my lineage. L3. Y'all remember y'all was arguing about that? Well, not y'all specifically, but they was on Garfield channel arguing about L3.
Yep.
For all the people that was arguing about the L3, they go in y'all face. L3, 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 L3 bullcrap. There you go. Look at where it's at. Y'all see it right there. Right there. East.
Right up in East Africa.
Let's zoom into the L3 though. The L down there. Okay. Now we're gonna see this whole little Remich thing over here because there's Egypt right there. And this is Sudan area right here. And they go there and they go there. Then they get into R, then they get into J, and then J go whoomp, whoomp, whoomp. And then we know that, you know, if it's saying British Isles, then we know these people came on down here right about right there, right below Mauritania. Senegal came down there and got the Mandingo. Came down there and got them some Sloan. Yeah, it probably didn't even happen right there, though. It probably just happened more recent. By the way, fully vaccinated people don't need COVID boosters. Health agency says that's from NBC News Health. But, you know, there's no timetable on that. Let the science settle. Delta variant isn't just hyper contagious, it also grows more rapidly inside of you. So if you've been infected with the Delta variant, it grew inside of you, which allowed it to do what it did. Yep. But yeah, man, you know, you can't really just, you know, deal with me on this level, man. I'm gonna get to you. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get to you. And we still can't even get a Hebrew. Hey, since they with genetics right now, when they gonna take a DNA test?
Shit. It's a good question.
When can we get there? 275,000 years ago, bro, that marker. That A marker. Going to DEM145, then the EM96. Look at how that go, bro. Over here, right where the L is at.
Mm-hmm.
Right here where the L is at. Come up through here and then go to West Africa, then go to Northwest Africa, then even come up through, you know what I'm saying, Europe, then when it went to West Africa, shot back all the way down to South Africa twice, two different directions. And then y'all want to sit here and get mad at me if I want to get into Egyptian culture or Zulu culture, you know what I'm saying, or Congolese, deal with the Congolese, or deal with some specific place in West Africa. Man, look at my DNA. Look where it's taking me.
Shit, more people that's dealing with a tradition ain't dealing with West African traditions or Central African traditions anyway.
Yeah, they need to. They need to. They'll feel the spirit. See, they ain't doing it because of stupid stuff like this. You share ancient paternal lineage, and then you know what I'm saying. They get caught up in that bull crap. Look at this. No, none of this say nothing about no Israelite or none of that. Look, Your paternal line stems from the EM180 branch of E, which dominates south of the Sahara. The haplogroup originated about 17,000 years ago in the pockets of West Africa that were habitable at the time when much of the continent was extremely dry due to ice age climate conditions. Over 10,000 years later, men bearing haplogroup EM180 migrated throughout the sub-Saharan Africa, spurred by development of agriculture and ironworking in the region. EM180 is most common today among speakers of the Bantu languages and related to them, in which levels are up to 90% among the Mandinka, the Yoruba of West Africa. Where the migrations begin, farther from the origin, EM180 reaches frequencies of 50% or higher in Huta, Sakuma, Hiroro, and Kosa. The lineage is also most common in haplogroup among African American male individuals. About 60% of African American men fall into this haplogroup primarily due to the Atlantic slave trade, which drew individuals from West Africa and Mozambique, where EM180 accounts for the majority of men. Today, you share your haplogroup with all the men who are paternal line descendants of the common ancestor of EM180. There you have it. Get your paternal maternal line. Same thing here, man. Look, J1C2 is relatively young. It traces back to a woman who lived 10,000 years ago. Her ancestors migrated into Europe and the Middle East as the Ice Age rescinded between 14,000 and 11,000 years ago. While J1C2 already existed in the West before the spread of agriculture, it likely expanded along with the farming populations as they moved west across the continent. Today, J1C2 is found exclusively within Europe, and researchers speculate that it traces back to J1C2 in the Middle East or due eastward migrations of people much later in human history. So that marker is much later in human history compared to the other marker that I just had. This marker telling you related to King Richard III, a pervert. Yeah, straight like that. Joseph said, "How accurate are those tests? These DNA tests have gotten a lot better than they were 3 years ago or 5 years ago. So they get really accurate. But people like to take multiple tests because they test for different things, and sometimes the results are a little different. But all you need to know is how much African ancestry you got in you. And me, 76.1. The average African American has 74%. 74% DNA, African DNA in it. Yep.
They said, what about the tests that can help you find family members on the continent? I seen one of them tests do that. I don't know which one that it is though.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna just keep it simple. I don't know. If you want
Yeah,
to know,
y'all talk about melanin, bro. Melanin is not a superpower. Melanin does not give you superpower. It just protect you from the harmful UVA rays of the sun.
are you
That's
dealing with
all.
pure black?
Yeah, Pure Black was responding to somebody else in the chat though.
Okay, cause I know. Oh, okay. Nzinga. Yeah, Nzinga, let that melanin go, sis. Let the
Matter of fact,
melanin.
get volume 3 and you'll
Uh-oh.
understand exactly what melanin is. Whoever that was told me that you ain't got volume 3 yet. Because I wrote on this. I wrote on what melanin is. On volume 3, you'll get a comprehensive breakdown.
Uh-oh. I ain't got 3.
Yeah, man, they tripping. They ain't got 3. So you thinking some melanin make you turn you to the X-Men or something?
Uh-oh.
Nah, not value 3 in colors.
Hell no, not no goddamn. Not to block that bullshit comment. Yeah. Nice. So that crazy right there.
Y'all going crazy in the chat.
So
Sister Tyson didn't look 90 because she wore sunscreen.
yeah, I tripping. Look, man, I'm gonna drop this jump one more time, man. I'm gonna give y'all about another like 5 minutes, man. You know what I'm saying? We rocked out pretty good. I see we couldn't get no more likes, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of disheartening that we couldn't get no more likes. You know, people rocking out with us and people hopped on, hopped off, hopped back, you know what I'm saying? No, Cicely Tyson didn't look old at all. She didn't look old at all. But I didn't know if any of y'all wanted to deal with the topic. I don't know if we even got Hebrews watching. I think Mika might have shared it with some Hebrews or whatever. Go ahead, Mika. Go on and put it go on and put it in the Kimmy verse Hebrew groups. Let them go on and sit on that running around here. Make sure Giants can say or get it too, but he was popping off in his mouth. Talking about he wanted to smoke. Him, Gideon, and Don Liar. Gideon, it's over for Gideon. He can't come back because he was the one just pushing it. Man, they said he was in Ghana. Shh. Little did he know Ghana was Libya. Man. Y'all just heard me eat some chips that I shouldn't have ate. I only ate once today. Then I ran them 3 miles in the at the hottest part of the day, but I was sweating. Look like y'all scared. Man, look, man, I'm going to wrap this thing up, man. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Make sure y'all pay attention on Saturday. Brother Black Panther don't be live, doing a real good bill culturally. Listen, Hebrews stay out of West Africa. We don't bother y'all. You really don't even need to be in Kemet. But we've been so nice to just let y'all set up shop at Kemet. Because when y'all setting up shop is in the 1100 AD era. Or it's after the period of where these people had greatnesses and nobody cares about that time period. But stay out of West Africa. You can go in North Africa. You accept it over there. You accept it in those areas. But below the Sahel or the Sahara, we don't rock with y'all. We don't rock with y'all. Yeah, you came through and converted some people later on when you got your little good book and you wanted to utilize it to enslave people and justify your ignorance, or when you were sending people through the Iberian, or when you wanted to broker the trans-Saharan in certain pockets like in Libya and Egypt and all of that. You know, that was good for y'all then. But that wasn't y'all. That wasn't y'all. That was actually Jews, the real people. You see what I'm saying? So y'all faking the funk, man, with the identity crisis. We ain't got time for all of that. We just broke down how Israelites misused the itinerary of Benjamin of Tudela, and we hit you with a little bit of simple genetics on the surface level. So with that being said, You need to read a book and stay the hell out of West Africa.